Welcome back to school, everyone. I hope you've had a great summer. It's a pleasure to teach you this year. We're going to start reviewing some of the answers to the summer packet. Hopefully, you guys have had a chance to go over them yourself. But it's basically you should be knowing all of these concepts. And if you get lost, you should watch these videos and try to learn from your mistakes and come and seek help from us. So we're going to start with number one. We're starting with function notation. When we say function notation, we mean f of x or g of x or h of x. That's always how it's going to be written. So the first couple are combining functions. They give us f of x and g of x here. F of x is 2x plus 1. G of x is x minus 3. And number 1 says f plus g of x. Notice that that's how we read it. It's f plus g of x. That just means that we want to add f and g together to create a new function. So I'm just going to do that. So f plus g of x looks like me taking the f function, which is 2x plus 1, and then just adding it to the g function, which is x minus 3. I'm then just going to combine like terms. So 2x plus x gives me 3x. And then I'm going to look at plus 1 and minus 3 and get negative 2. So my final function here, my final answer is going to be 3x minus 2. So actually the notation looks really confusing, but it's actually not that hard of a problem. So we're going to continue the same thing down here with 2. Notice that because g comes first, we start with g. So I'm going to put x minus 3 here. I'm going to put parentheses around it because it's a subtraction problem. So I'm going to subtract my f, which is 2x plus 1. The reason I put parentheses was because the subtraction goes with every term in parentheses, so I have to distribute the negative. So this becomes x minus 3. I distribute, I get minus 2x. I distribute, I get minus 1. Now I combine like terms again. So I have x and I have negative 2x. That gives me negative 1x. And then minus 3 and minus 1 gives me minus 4. So my final answer is negative x minus 4. Similar here for f minus g, I just changed the order. So I have 2x plus 1, which is f, minus my g, which is x minus 3. Notice again that I use parentheses. I distribute the negative to the second terms. So I have 2x plus 1 stays the same. I have minus x and I have plus 3 when I distribute. Then once again I combine like terms, so 2x and negative x gives me positive 1x, and plus 1 and plus 3 gives me plus 4. So x plus 4 would be my f minus g. Over here with number 4 we're going to switch gears, and this is going to be multiplication. So I'm going to once again write them in the correct order. So f comes first here, so I'm going to put parentheses. That's 2x plus 1, which is f, and then g is x minus 3. And now I'm going to use FOIL, or the distributive property, which you should know by now from Algebra 1 or Algebra 2. And I'm going to multiply the first terms together, so 2x times x is 2x squared. Multiply the outside terms, so 2x minus 3 is negative 6x. Multiply the inner terms and I get 1x. And then multiply the last terms and I get minus 3. Combine these terms in the middle that are alike, I get 2x squared minus 5x minus 3. And that's my final answer for number 4. Number 5 is division. So I'm going to write g on top, so this is g is x minus 3 divided by 2x plus 1. I look and I say, can I factor anything here? That's the only way that things will be able to be simplified, and nothing factors because there's no GCF, there's no greatest common factor. I can't take this and break it down any further, so because of that, this is just my answer. And then something similar for f over g, it's just equal to f on top, g on the bottom. Can't simplify it. I'm done. Okay, so that's combining functions. It's an important skill for the first unit of pre-calculus. And now we're going to evaluate functions in 7, 8, and 9. Evaluate just means basically I take the given x value, which is always here, and plug it into the function on the outside for x. So if you look at number 7, it says h of negative 2. H of x was listed as x to the 4th power minus 2x. So every place I see x, I'm going to write negative 2 because that's what this means. So instead of having x to the 4th, I have negative 2 to the 4th. Instead of having minus 2x, I have minus 2 times negative 2. So I evaluate here, negative 2 to the 4th power is positive 16, and negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. I add them together and I get 20 as my answer. Similar here, k of 3. I put 3 in though for x in the k function, so I use a different function because it's k. So I have 2 parentheses, put the 3 for x, so 3 to the third plus 5, and then instead of writing x squared, I write 3 squared. I simplify that. 3 to the third power is 27, times 2 is 54, plus 3 to the second power is 9, times 5 is 45. Add them together, and I get 99 as my final answer. If I look at number 9 here, I get c to the 1/2 power. So I'm going to put 1/2 in for c function. The c function is negative 16 x squared minus 4x plus 2. So when I see x, I'm going to put 1/2. So here I have negative 16. Sorry, my phone's going off in the background. 1/2 squared minus 4 times 1/2 plus 2. So if I go ahead and do that, 1/2 squared is 1/4 times 16 is negative 4. Minus 4 times 1/2 is minus 2, and then plus 2. Add those together, I get negative 4 minus 2, which is negative 6. Plus 2 gives me negative 4 as my final answer. I did that kind of fast, so if you need help, you can use the calculator for that. Or you can ask me in class, I can show you how to do that. Write out all the steps. Just ran out of room. Now, number 10, what does f of 2 equal 5 mean? It means when x equals 2, my y value equals 5, or my function value, my f of 2, is equal to 5. That just means for whenever x is 2, y is 5. So if I was plotting this on the graph, my x value would be 2, my y would be 5. It would give me an ordered pair. Okay, this is the first page of the packet. It has to do with combining functions. If you have any questions, feel free to catch me in class. It's exciting to see you guys this year, and hopefully we'll have a good year.